But like, let's say there was a study that said something along the lines of, or there was even data that indicated that single fathers, as compared to single mothers, tended to raise better children. Would that...
Statistically, if the data show that, then you could quantifiably say that it could be practical for the guy to remain. But my personal anecdote is that I just want to leave as much cash behind as possible
that's fine.
for people that I love.
Not a lot of people are going to agree with me on this, but
I mean, statistically, you can base it off math and you can be right, but it depends how we cut it.
I just haven't heard a good reason, a good argument for why men should die for their girlfriend or wife. I've not heard a good reason for this.
Have you ever heard of a war that has started because of a woman, or men ever dying for women in history?
Helen of Troy.
Okay.
Wait, so I think I have heard like countries have warred with each other, perhaps in like a little further back in history, over a love interest, like between monarchs maybe. I don't have a specific example, but bro, that's pretty simpy to send your soldiers to go fight because there's like a feud over a chick. I'm sorry, bro. I don't know if I'm insensitive.
Hey, Brian.
I don't know if I'm insensitive for valuing the life of men, but I think that's a terrible reason to go to war because two monarchs are beefing over some princess. That's ridiculous.
Let me give you a more existential situation. What if she's pregnant with your child? Then who should die?
All right, that's an interesting question.
Because I think it's more so the fact that it's just instinct based off the fact that she could potentially be pregnant. You feel a sense.
That's actually a good argument.
Yeah, you feel a sense of
smart.
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
I think when it boils down to it, that's the biology of it. We protect women because if you involve with a woman romantically, she could potentially be pregnant. So if she's pregnant, you want to be protective and you want your genetic legacy to continue. So if she's pregnant and she dies, then you just lost what genetic legacy you almost had.
That is true. That is a fair consideration. But let me throw it back at you a little bit. What if, so that was your first child, right? And say you're young, say you're 25, and that would be a tragedy, an absolute tragedy. If she died, the baby died, absolute tragedy, right? But what if you go on, you're 25, you're still young, you go on to meet another woman, and then she bears you 7 children? That would make for a stronger genetic legacy than the one.
I'd also like to point out that single mothers are a harder sell than single fathers. I'm literally with a single father.
You mean like in a dating
like
context?
if I'm going to go for a guy, I'm more inclined to be okay with
him
dealing
having
with
children.
So I mean...
yeah, she wouldn't. I mean, if you die and she pregnant, she can't just go fuck somebody else because she pregnant. You got 9 months. You got 9 months of enjoying your afterlife.
Oh, I'm good.
You was talking about she just go fuck somebody a month after. So if she's pregnant,
that's one scenario.
Yeah, if she's pregnant, she can't fucking. Well, that's kind of disgusting.
Technically, she can.
Just want to fuck the pregnant woman.
Still good. I don't think I've heard a good argument for why men should sacrifice their life for their romantic partner.
What? Go ahead.
I was going to say, so I'm just like wondering, I don't know the protocols of this, but I do know firefighters are trained when there's a fire. They ask, are there any children in this house? They save the children first. And I'm wondering, do they save women next? Like, okay, where's the mother? I think that there is a rule of order for emergency situations on who you save first. And so I'm wondering what that is.
Well, I mean, you have like the example of the Titanic where it was something like women and children first. But we don't live in when was the Titanic? The 1910, like early.
But it's tradition,
century.
right? There's tradition.
I don't know the date.
They can procreate. Like we can procreate. You can't.
So can men.
Let's say there was a fire in the entire world and everyone burns alive, and you can only save a man or a woman. Who are you going to save? Like if there was a couple. Like bad example. If you had to save, basically,
you would have to save a man and a woman for
Yes, but if there was no, yes, that's true. But I think it's because women can procreate that you need the woman. That you're just devaluing the woman. You're saying that the man's life is more important.
So like one guy versus 10 girls.
I'm actually not
versus
saying
one.
that men are more important. I'm actually pushing back and saying men are just as valuable. And I don't think that it's.
Well, you're saying that you should, the woman should be hit by the car, not the man.
Well, in the hypothetical scenario where you have to pick one.
Yeah, the one that can procreate with another man, or.
Yeah, but okay, if it's the guy picking in that situation, the guy is picking who has to die in the hypothetical. Why would it matter if the woman that he's dating can go and procreate? That's almost some cuck simp shit. She can go and procreate with another man. What benefit does that do me if I'm dead? That's crazy.
Well, I think like when it comes to the gender roles, and we expect for you to protect your family, and you're not providing that to your family, where you're willing to throw me in front of a car and my child, then you're not.
And the child. Hold on, let's.
Okay, me and the child, or just me?
Well, okay, Q offered up a scenario if she was pregnant, but this is like, there's a bunch of different like angles that you can come at this. We can keep adding, like, shifting the goalposts here, but the original thing I think was, it's a guy who's dating a woman. There's no kids involved.
So what do you think a man's gender roles is? Like, what does that entail?
Traditional gender roles to provide and protect.
Okay, and so what does that exactly mean? To you, what is like? What does that look like?
You can protect somebody.
But how, I'm just like wondering, what is the action behind that? What does the provide and protect look like to you?
What do you mean?
Like, what does the provide part mean? What does that mean to you?
Could be typically providing resources.
Okay, and so then protect.
In modern society, this typically means earning money.
Okay, and then protect. Like, what does that fall under? Like, what is under that umbrella?
Protecting your family from threats, both physical and mental.
Okay. And so then what is a woman's gender roles?
It depends what, but typically to nurture.
Okay. So just to nurture?
I mean, there's other stuff too.
Okay.
Why don't you tell me what you think they are?
No, I mean, I agree. I think those are very spot on. I think women is like nurture, caregiver. In basically just that. I mean, there's other things that fall under that, but I think those are the main two. But when a man's not doing that, he's not meeting his gender role. So I think that a man could do that? Sure. Could a man throw a woman in front of a car to save his life? Sure. But do I think it falls within his gender roles and it makes him not very masculine? Yes, I don't think that makes him very masculine. But he could do it.
I think it's neither masculine or feminine to want to survive. But you just said
you just said that was a gender roles.
But see, I don't think sacrificing your life.
You said protect.
Okay, but hold on. You can still protect somebody without needing to die.
But in a situation where it's like, I'm going to walk on the side of the sidewalk just in case, that's protecting. Just in case. Like, you may or may not get hit by a car. I do think that falls into the protect category.
Also, technically, who is more likely to survive being hit by a car? A biologically strong male or a woman?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't.
It depends.
I just think it's okay. So just so I'm clear, you would not be willing to date a guy if he was not willing to die for you.
I mean, I think that is not just given at the first date, but I do think it falls within a gender role. It makes him masculine to desire to provide and protect for me.
See, I'm not really sold on if a guy sacrificing his life
is it not innate?
Is masculine.
But you just said that was the gender role, to provide and protect.
Right.
A masculine gender role.
Hold on. But there's okay, for example, is it a W? Let's say let me paint a scenario. And we've seen this on like subways, right? Let's say that there's a man on a subway and he sees a stranger woman who's being accosted by a male. Is it the right choice, and this could be a retrospective choice, for that man to intervene on behalf of that totally random stranger woman, and he ends up dying because of his intervention? I don't know about you, if it makes you more masculine to die for a random woman,
okay,
good for you, bro. I put my survival over dying for some random person.
So
sorry if that makes me less masculine or more beta. Fine, put that fucking judgment and title on me. Look, the ultimate goal is survival. I'm not going to intervene if some fucking crazy person is like accosting somebody on the subway in New York City. I think the biggest move for me, for my family, for my future partner would be to not intervene when some fucking psycho's on the subway. And I guarantee you, I bet you would say, for example, if you were married and you had a husband and there was some woman who's being accosted on a subway and your husband intervened on her behalf and he ends up dying, would that be better or worse for your family?
So
answer the question.
Heroic.
I think
answer, would it be better or worse for your family?
If he has a family, then no, I don't think that's in his best
How about
interest.
he's just dating you? How about he's just dating you?
And I
you
said
don't
that
have
takes
kids.
but here's an example.
Would you prefer your boyfriend to die to save a stranger? Answer the question.
I think it's chivalrous.
I don't
Grid
care.
1 Motorsports
It doesn't matter
donated
how you view it.
$200. For fuck's sake, what makes you worth a man's life? What makes you feel worthy of such a high price? Why do you expect this sacrifice? Men do manly things, but to assume you are worth a man's life.
Grid 1, good to see you in the chat. It's kind of crazy. Answer the question though.
For a random person that he has no duty to, no. I mean,
but hold on. I thought the ultimate thing would be to be masculine and protect in all instances.
Provide and protect. Okay, but if you don't have a duty to them, it's not someone that you're pursuing in a long-term relationship. What is your duty to? I mean, I guess essentially we all have a duty to each other, but that's a little.
Okay, so how far into the relationship?
I think if you're a man that has a wife and kids at home, and you see some random person on the subway acting deranged, would I advise you to go break that up? No, I think your duty would probably just be to call 911 and get help. But I do think that you have a family at home that you're serving too, so you have to look at.
I would just
where your duty is.
Anyway
is your duty to those random people on the subway? Is your duty to your wife at home and your kids at home?
Brian,
precisely.
Brian, question for you. So if you were dating someone, for a year, got engaged, and now you're going to be marrying this woman, someone breaks into your house and they're going to shoot her. Do you jump in front of her to save her life?
So wait,
no?
I've been dating her for how long?
You're engaged at this point.
Well,
so
I'm
you're
gonna
marry her.
okay, somebody breaks into my house. I'm gonna try to dispatch them with my own firearm. But you're saying in a hypothetical scenario where it's one of our lives has to be taken. No kids? Just been dating her for a year?
Well,
she can take the bullet.
Engaged.
I'm just going to be really fucking honest.
I know.
There's going to be a lot of guys who might even lie and say, "Oh, I would take the fucking bullet." Look, fine, I'll take it if people want to call me a beta male or feminine, because I actually think it's actually the most Sigma thing to do would be so you can continue living and that you can find another mate and then you can procreate with that other mate. That would be the most Sigma move. I'm sorry.
Can we get Jake Hughes?
There's no arguing this.
It's still the same topic.
Yeah.
But okay. So wait. So you think that if a guy's been dating a woman for a year in some hypothetical scenario where one of them, he has to jump in front of her, stop the bullet, or he can choose to survive, you think the man should take the bullet for the woman he's been dating for a year?
Yeah. Okay. So there's two different kinds of men.
No. Wait. Just state it. Yes.
I mean, it's not.
I think that's.
Yeah, I do.
I think that's a white knight sin.
You're the leader in this soon-to-be marriage. You need to prove to me that you can provide and protect for this family.
Like imagine she survived that bullet, and then she's in the hospital, and you're like, yeah, I actually sacrificed
I didn't try anything to save her life because I care and value my life more than her. If anyone ever wants
why
to
are
date
women's
Brian,
lives more important than men? This is such a
It's not saying it's more
crazy.
important. It's not falls in your gender role.
It's not.
I'm not saying that our
the
lives are
ultimate
more
sacrifice
important.
would be to give your life for somebody else. If you're saying that men in all instances ought to sacrifice their life,
I think not in all instances.
For a woman who they've been dating for 1 year is frankly a sexist position.
No, because I would take a bullet for someone that I love dearly any day.
Okay.
But I do
would you
expect
take
that from a man.
Would you take a bullet for a guy that you've been dating for a year?
Absolutely, I would. And you know,
What?
firefighters, military people, they do that easily, probably way faster without thinking than you do on any day for a stranger.
Look, I'm in favor of firefighters and police officers, but actually, I mean, police officers will hold back, assess the situation. They're not just going to blindly put themselves in a dangerous situation.
I don't say blindly.
Police officers are not, by law, required to, like, let's say there's two people fighting, and police officers aren't necessarily required to intervene.
So, but why do they do it?
They put their life on
but why do they do it?
every single day?
Yes,
Every single day.
Of course.
But why do they do it?
Of course they do.
They're
Well, it's
willing
their
to die
it's their
every
job.
single day.
It's
But
their-
they didn't have to pick
It's their
that
job.
You just said they don't have to, though. Like you said that it's not within their requirement to sacrifice their life for someone, but they do
there's
it.
actually, I think there's a Supreme.
So then why do they do
Supreme
it
Court-
if it's not required?
No, but I'm speaking legally here. Police I think there's a Supreme Court case on this. Police aren't obligated, are not compelled by law to, like, if they see somebody getting, like, beat up, they're not necessarily compelled by law to, like, intervene.
Okay.
If they detect that there's some sort of risk, it's a Supreme Court case. I don't know if Nick, you can try to find it.